Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy this video, we invite those of you who haven't yet done so, to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the notification icon, to be notified when the next one is uploaded. We'd also like to urge those of you who haven't yet done so, to sign our online petition for an inquiry into the running of the BBC and Channel 4. A link has been provided in the description. If you are on X, then please repost our tweet. Thank you. In today's offering, we will be looking at the signs that Petronas, the Mercedes title sponsor, are set to follow Lewis Hamilton out of the door. Yes, Petronas, the ones who were so committed to Sir Lewis, that in September 2022, they declared him to be an 8th-time world champion, after what had gone down in Abu Dhabi. Petronas, the ones who have been title sponsors since 2010, during which time Mercedes have always had a world champion driver on their books, including the two greatest ever. Sir Lewis's exit at the end of this season means that for the first time since Petronas started sponsoring Mercedes, they will not have a world champion driver in their team. Now, you can be sure that Mercedes have been extracting a premium from their sponsors for having a world champion car and driver, so now that they won't have either, you can expect their sponsors to extract concessions. Petronas announced their commitment to a multi-year contract extension with Mercedes going beyond 2026, at the same time that they declared Sir Lewis to be an 8th-time world champion, so you can be sure that they had figured the GOAT into their calculations. This was less than a year since Abu Dhabi, when there was still the expectation that Mercedes would be able to provide Sir Lewis with a competitive car that he could win with. But 2 years down the line, with Sir Lewis going out the door and no prospects of a world champion car or driver in sight, Mercedes are panicking over the prospect of Petronas activating an escape clause just like the GOAT did. After all, we all know that multi-year contracts have escape clauses, don't we? Sir Lewis activated the one in his multi-year contract with Mercedes to escape to Ferrari. This would explain why Toto and Mercedes were trying so desperately to get Crashtappen, by offering astronomical terms that they had previously denied to the most marketable driver in motorsport. This would explain why reports are coming out about George Russell's seat being at risk because of questions about his ability to lead a championship campaign. It's one thing to copy Sir Lewis and then sabotage him, but then when he's gone, what do you have? There was never any suggestion that Sir Lewis was relying on his world champion teammates' data when he beat him in his exceptional debut season, and just fell short of winning the championship. Sir Lewis's much-heralded replacement fluffed his lines, so Mercedes are looking the worst that they have ever looked since Petronas started sponsoring them. So, you can rightly expect that Petronas will be acutely aware of that. All that being said, what are the signs that Petronas are looking to follow their 8th-time champion out of the door? Well, as our regular visitors may recall, we routinely check the Mercedes homepage, even though we have to admit that we don't do it so much now that the season is drawing to a close, and we are just praying for Sir Lewis's safe exit. But nevertheless, when we had a look this week, we came across Mercedes's somewhat conspicuous declaration of gratitude to Petronas. Now why would that raise suspicions? What is wrong with Mercedes telling their day one sponsors how important they are to them? Well folks, the suspicion lies in the detail. First of all, Petronas clocked 50 this year, August 17th to be exact, and to mark the occasion, Mercedes announced a few days before the Singapore Grand Prix that they would be sporting a special livery. Well, this is indeed a rare honor, because the last time Mercedes sported a special livery was at the 2019 German Grand Prix, to mark their 125th motorsport anniversary. And on this occasion, the team members also wore German costumes. What a spectacle to behold! Perhaps on reflection, and bearing in mind what happened the last time, Mercedes would have thought twice about sporting a special livery to mark another anniversary. Maybe this time around, they thought it would work out better if they just stuck to the car and no costumes for the team members. Anyway, Petronas have been sponsoring Mercedes for 15 years, so why wasn't there a 40-year anniversary celebration? Could it be that this was during the period when Mercedes were reigning supreme and suitors were lining up, so they didn't feel the need to butter up their sponsor? Can't imagine suitors will be lining up to replace Petronas at this time. So given that Mercedes are on a downward spiral, it is instructive that they took a chance on breaking their special livery jinx to celebrate their sponsor's 50-year anniversary. Not sure if the Petronas 50-year anniversary celebration went down in flames worse than the Mercedes 125th, because at least both drivers finished in Singapore, but we all know that it went down badly. Toto was roundly condemned for sacrificing Mercedes's chance of glory to sabotage Sir Lewis's race. Both drivers suffered borderline heatstroke, so they had to cancel their post-race commitments, unlike the German Grand Prix, where they were available for post-race commitments, and the DNFs were just a minor embarrassment on the way to another car and driver championship year. It was telling that the GOAT was openly critical of his team during and after the race, in a manner that indicated his acceptance of their parting of the ways. Unlike 2019, Mercedes were not defending champions on the way to retaining both titles, so the Singapore weekend would not have gone down well with Petronas. Some of you may be aware that Singapore is known as the crossroads of the East, and as far as we were concerned, it was the perfect location for the symbolic parting of ways between Mercedes and Sir Lewis. Definitely not a weekend to celebrate for Petronas, who are acutely aware of the Singapore crossroads symbolism. This just may have been the straw that broke the camel's back for Petronas, given the series of calamities that had been befallen the team since the contract extension was announced in 2022, and in particular since Sir Lewis's departure was announced at the beginning of the season. Now, as previously stated, Mercedes had given advance notice of their intention to mark Petronas's 50-year anniversary at Singapore, but a review of their homepage after Singapore contains no reference, tribute, or anything acknowledging Petronas beyond the standard image of the special liveried car. This clearly indicates that the special liveried car was all that Mercedes had planned to show their appreciation to Petronas. But some 25 days after Singapore, and a month after the announcement of the special livery, the Mercedes homepage featured a caption titled, "Why Our Relationship with Petronas is So Important." Now why is that? What happened between the intervening period to cause Mercedes to come out and tell the whole world how important Petronas is to them? This is a 15-year relationship that has just been commemorated with a rare special livery. Everybody knows that Mercedes rarely change livery, so that was a significant tribute to Petronas. Mercedes had clearly moved on from the celebration, so what prompted them to openly state how important Petronas are to them? Well, we see this as a clear signal that Mercedes became aware during the intervening period that Petronas are reviewing their relationship with a view to escaping like Sir Lewis. What other possible reason could there be for Mercedes to make that random declaration so many days after their planned and high-profile declaration? Now Sir Lewis is acknowledged to be the most marketable driver in motorsport by a long margin, despite Mercedes thrashing around like a flapping Toto. A simple Google Trend review corroborates this fact. So, one can reasonably expect that Petronas would want to review their contract with Mercedes in light of the exit of the most marketable and highest-profile driver in Formula One. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. After 15 years the relationship between Mercedes and Petronas has reached the stage where a month on from a special livery birthday present, Mercedes feel the need to tell the whole world how important Petronas are to them.